I was in the 5th grade when I moved from Wyoming to Oklahoma, and a new school, trying to catch up educationally, trying to catch up with making new friends and all those type of things. So somebody thought it'd be a great idea if I played baseball. And so I went out and I joined the baseball team. And the baseball team had the minors league and the majors league, and I was automatically put in the minors league because, well, I hadn't played much before. And so here I am playing in a minor league baseball team in 5th grade in Miami, Oklahoma, and I was on the bench. And the reason I was on the bench is I didn't have an opportunity to prove anything. I didn't have an opportunity to show that I could play. I didn't get the opportunity because the team had been playing together for so long. So 5th grade season went on, and 6th grade season I signed up again, got put on the same team, and here I am wanting to play baseball. At best, they'd let me play in the right field every once in a while, which we know is probably the least appealing position in baseball. And so here I am wanting so badly to go out and play baseball. Unfortunately, there was a student who died. He was 11 years old. He was in the majors. So my opportunity at the expense of this tragedy came. And here's the deal. There were tryouts, and I was able to go and try out. And the night of tryouts came, and here I am. I'm able to use some of my talent to show that I can actually play baseball. And so I show up and I go to the tryouts and I do some fielding where I have to catch some ground balls, I have to catch some pop flies, I've got to do all sorts of things, but then the hitting opportunity comes up. And I got to tell you, the tryouts, there are several people trying out, there are a lot of people around, even my coaches who were down from the minors were there to watch what we were doing. And I got my opportunity to get up to bat. And man, I hit balls like crazy, every one of them to the fence, every one of them perfect hits. I felt really proud of what I was able to do. People even made the comment, oh man, you're great out there. So I should have been a shoo-in, right? I should have been the person who would have been picked to move from the minor league to the major league. Even after the tryouts, I go and my coaches are like, why don't you hit like that for us? What I wanted to say was, well, you haven't given me the chance. I didn't. I just said, well, I'm trying to show something. So you can imagine how proud I was, how excited I was, thinking I was the right choice. I was going to jump in. I was going to be move from the minors to the majors as if it was like real Major League Baseball, right? Until I got the call. And the call was, yep, I didn't get in. It wasn't me. I didn't get the opportunity to jump in and be the Major League Baseball player that I wanted to be. The benefit was I was able to go back to minors and I got played a little bit more, but I remember feeling so proud that I could show everybody what I could do. And after the tryouts, people were saying, you're amazing, you did so good, and it just makes you feel so great. Feel so great. And here I am, 12-year-old boy, and I get told no. Have you ever been told no? And do you remember how it felt, how embarrassed you were, how ashamed you might have felt, like nothing ever changed, and suddenly I was jealous and frustrated at all these major league players. I was depressed. I was a mess inside. There was something going on inside of me that was just bred out of disappointment, that was bred out of rejection. And isn't it true that rejection is just a part of this crazy life we live? It's the journey we call life. And if I'm honest, being rejected from the major leagues in Miami, Oklahoma when I was 12 years old probably hasn't been the worst rejection that I've ever experienced. I've been turned down for jobs. I've had plenty of girls put me in the friend zone, right? And rejection is just one of those great fears in life. We are afraid to be rejected because we want to belong so bad. We want to be liked. We want to be loved. The problem is fear of rejection actually keeps us from being honest with ourselves. It keeps us from being honest with the people around us. Fear of rejection can cause us to live this false life, this hypocritical life, this fake life, because we don't want to live in fear of rejection. I think of Peter in the Bible. One time Peter, one of Jesus' closest followers, he failed Jesus terribly. He actually denied Jesus. He got intimidated by a middle school girl and claimed that he'd never even known the man. However, Peter learned quickly the way God could use a rejected person. What happened is Peter was really the first leader of the church. In the book of Acts, we hear about him leading and ushering the day of Pentecost in Jerusalem. And he went on to write a letter to a church, to a group of people, and they were experiencing extreme persecution. They were experiencing deep rejection. So in 1 Peter, rejected by men, but in the sight of God, chosen and precious. Catch that. Peter's talking about Jesus, who was this living stone, but was rejected. He was rejected. And it says, you yourselves, like living stones, you are being built up as a spiritual house, to be a holy priesthood, to offer spiritual sacrifices that are acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. For it stands in Scripture, it says, behold, I'm laying in Zion a stone, a cornerstone, chosen and precious. And whoever believes in him will not be put to shame. So the honor is for you to believe, but for those who do not believe, the stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone, a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense. And so when I read this passage, I often think, I wonder what rejection in your life and what rejection in my life, the rejection that we deal with and the rejection that we face, what is it that God can do with that rejection, that He could build something on it for the future? Listen, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world when somebody rejects you. I know it can feel that way, but really it is not the end of the world. And I believe we have a choice. We have a choice in how we experience rejection. We have an opportunity to make a decision about what we do with rejection when we do experience it. See, we can continue living under the dark shadow of rejection, totally embarrassed, totally jealous, totally frustrated. We can live in the shadow of rejection, or we can live with the pain of regret. Because often what rejection does is it keeps us from taking opportunities. It keeps us from seizing the moments that God has for us. Because if rejection makes us stop trying, to stop asking, to quit taking chances, to quit taking risks. I mean, think about all of the things that you could have tried. Think of all the things that might have worked out, that could have happened. Think about all the things that could have been if you actually tried. Think of all the things that you might have had a chance of experiencing and that might have actually begun happening, but you were afraid to do it because you were afraid of rejection. And this is why I shared what Peter wrote. Peter writes, it was Jesus who is the stone that the builders rejected, and it was Jesus they turned away, and it was Jesus who Peter rejected, and it was also Jesus who became the cornerstone of what God was going to build, His church, the future. I don't know if you knew this or not, but Albert Einstein, the great mathematician, was expelled from school. Walt Disney was fired from the Kansas Star because they said he lacked imagination. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company, the company he started, the company that he created. Oprah was once fired because apparently she showed too much emotion. The way we handle rejection has everything to do with the future that we're preparing for ourselves. It just does. And so before I give you a few ideas about how to handle rejection, I really want you to get settled with this idea from 1 Peter. Because I think one of the messages in this verses is that the greatest rejection in your life, the greatest rejection that you might face, the greatest rejection I might face, that any of us might face, could actually become a part of the building block of an incredibly powerful future. It could be the building block for the greatest things that are still yet to come. Yes, we have to treat rejection right. We have to process rejection the right way. We have to learn what to do with rejection when we experience rejection. Rejection can be a gift in our lives, and I want you to see that today. If we can learn how to powerfully respond to rejection, man, God could take that rejection and do something beautiful with it. And so how do we deal with rejection? First, give yourself freedom to feel. Give yourself, I felt when I was rejected that I just couldn't talk about it, I couldn't say anything. And so we need to feel it. Too often we suppress the feelings that we experience when we're rejected. And this can cause us to grow bitter, it can cause us to grow jealous, it leads us to bottling up all of these negative feelings. It's not good. We can't do it. Instead, we need to give ourselves permission to feel. Feel. Rejection reveals some of the things inside of us. It reveals some of the things going on. It even reveals things that are going on around us. Rejection gives us an opportunity to take a different perspective and to look at life and to see if we're with the right people or if we're with the wrong people or if we're pursuing the right thing or we're pursuing the wrong thing. And so look at rejection as an opportunity to feel some things, and look at rejection as an opportunity to see what God might be revealing. I would say second, after you give yourself permission to feel, I would say surround yourself around the people who love you, who really care about you. I mean, it's important for us to surround ourselves with people who love us and accept us, and no matter where you are today, I want you to know you are loved, you're accepted, you're worth something. Regardless of the rejection that you faced, I want you to hear that you matter, you're important. What I've learned about rejection and what I try to understand about God and rejection is that He doesn't let anybody leave our life. And understand this, there's people who come in and out of our lives all the time, but God doesn't allow somebody to leave our life if He doesn't have an upgrade in store. Often the people who have left my life, the people who have followed, have been that much better. And I think that that's who God is. And so surround yourself around the people who love you, who accept you. And I would say third, use rejection as your advantage. Not a disadvantage, as an advantage. I mean, rejection's a harsh reality check, right? Rejection will show you if there's things that you can work on. Rejection will give you the opportunity to discover if there is room for improvement, or if there's a new set of goals we should pursue, or maybe that our goals were too unrealistic in the first place. When rejection faces you, when someone rejects you or something rejects you, I believe that God is creating space for an upgrade in your life. He's wanting to give you an upgraded situation. Rejection is this incredibly valuable tool that will help reveal who and what should be in your life right now. All depends on how we handle rejection. So how do you handle the rejection that you face in your life?